Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.
Oh my gosh, it's people helping people!
Tonight's episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by Mike Silkowski. He's your local partner in getting your message in front of the right people. Mike specializes in helping businesses right here in Southern Arizona reach their ideal customers through TV and streaming services. He's not just sponsoring this chapter 3 of People Helping People, he's building partnerships, and he doesn't succeed unless you do. If you're ready to grow your business with someone who's invested in your success, call Mike at 515-305-5311. Again, that's 515-305-5311. This episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by T-Town Boxing, Tucson's home for boxing, kickboxing, and recovery classes for all ages. From kids to adults, beginners to experienced fighters, T-Town Boxing offers a space to grow, train, and challenge yourself. So if you're ready to push your limits and join an amazing community, reach out to T-Town Boxing on Instagram at instagram.com/T-Town or their website, boxingtucson.com. Again, that's instagram.com/T-Town or their website, boxingtucson.com. This episode is sponsored by the Diabetes Network of Arizona, a community built by people living with type 1 diabetes for people living with type 1 diabetes. They host Arizona's only family camp for type 1 diabetics, giving kids and family a place to connect, learn, and feel understood. Every dollar raised stays right here in Arizona, helping local families get the care and supplies that they need. No one should ever face diabetes alone, and with your help, they don't have to. You can make a difference today by clicking the donation link in the description. The Diabetes Network of Arizona, building a stronger, healthier Arizona together. Let's get back into the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of People Helping People. Come on, man. It feels good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another incredible episode. I already see some people popping in here. And if it's your first time joining us, welcome to People Helping People. This is a live show, so that means you get to be involved in a podcast. If you have questions, feedback, comments, leave it in the comment box below. We will shout you out on the podcast if you have questions. Again, those will be answered on the show as well. And if you're coming back and joining us again, welcome to the show. I appreciate everybody being a part of this community and the things that we have built and achieved in such a short amount of time. All credit goes to you guys for being here, being a part of the community. We love you. This one's for you. Love you guys. And I am so excited for this evening's show. I don't know if you guys saw my little Facebook post or my little Instagram story there, but I have been working side by side, just like this, with somebody for a long time. Our visions align. We have been in contact about how we can come together and make a better future for the people living with type 1 diabetes. And I'm so excited to have our guest, and I didn't even ask her how I pronounce her last name, and I'm gonna butcher it. So we're just gonna do the first name, and then we'll ask when she jumps on. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody in the community that's really making a difference. She is not just an entrepreneur, but she is somebody that is leading the charge in helping people help people. So without further ado, let's welcome Tara of the Diabetes Network of Arizona to the show. Yeehaw.
Thank you.
How do I say your last name?
That's the best part. It's Krajnak. The J is silent.
Krajnak. Okay. All right. We got
Mhm.
that out of the way. Tara Krajnak.
Done.
Let's do it again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the
It gets
show.
people every time.
Right. Yeah. I was looking at that. I was like, oh, wait, I forgot to ask before the show. How
That's
do I
all
say
good.
it?
It's all good.
For the people that don't know, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Tara Krajnak. I am an Arizona native, and I've been living with type 1 diabetes for 30, I honestly think I lost track, 30 something years. I'm a mom of three, and by trade, I'm a registered nurse. I work in the emergency department. And so that's kind of what landed me here is my, backstory. And now I'm an entrepreneur,
Mm,
and trying to help people help themselves. So
yeah.
that's why you said, we align. We saw a need, we saw a gap, and we're here to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And, I see in the comments right now some people that are just excited for tonight's show. We have Rich out there. Welcome in, Rich. We see you. Thank you for being a part of tonight's show. He says, good evening to you all. Hope you had an amazing weekend. We did have an amazing weekend. Thank you, Rich. We appreciate that. And Amanda Cardenas, come
There
on.
she is.
She's the reason that this whole relationship has blossomed, and she has been the reason why we advocate for kids to go to diabetic camp. She has been the reason for helping people an outlet. Me being a type
Yeah.
1 diabetic myself, she came onto the show and was like, here you go. Here's everything that I know. And it all stemmed from going to camp. So Amanda, this one's for you. Yes. And she says, oh my goodness, my worlds are colliding. Send all my Vedic love to you and Farva.
Yeah, there it is. That other name.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't remember her face. I think her name was Tasty Face that she got from
Yep.
camp.
Tasty
Yeah,
face.
good old Tasty
Yep.
Face. And she also says, to be fair, I've known her for over 20 years. I'm just now learning how to pronounce that last name. Okay,
Yep.
good.
I'm always known as Farva. No one calls me anything else. So
I love it. Well, let's dive into this. I'm so excited to have this conversation for so many reasons, but I kind of want to peel things back. I want to go back to how your advocacy for type 1 diabetes started.
yeah, so I mean, honestly, being a native, I've grown up here, and I've lived with type 1 diabetes pretty much my whole life. I was 8 when I got it. Um, and I didn't have, we try to say we didn't have the easiest childhood or, whatever, defined easy. We all have our trauma, but I grew up on the track to be a bad statistic. I lost my mom when I was 10, got diagnosed with diabetes when I was 8. And I was raised by my aunt and uncle. So I was only part of the foster system for a short time.
Oh no, we lost her. We lost her.
Where do
Hopefully
you
the
go for
audience
this?
can
How do
still.
you do this? Diabetes was hard enough, but now you're a teen without a mom and all these things. And so as I grew up, I kind of just dealt with it. It was like just shove it under the rug, move forward. I volunteered at Camp ASDA for many, many years, and that was my outlet. That's how I, survived, if you will, and did not become a bad statistic. But as I grew up, became a mom myself, I realized there's so much more that we could do. And there's programs we can develop. There's still these issues that have been lingering for years and years. The cost of, taking care of yourself, the cost to live, cost of living is going up. So then how do you afford your insulin? Do you choose your rent or you choose insulin? Um, and then also the mental health aspect. I just kind of looked back at my life and was like, what was the one thing that kept me from being one of those bad statistics? And it was my friends with diabetes. um, I
Mm.
have best friends that I've had for years and years. I'm aging myself, but I'm Tasty Face's camp mom, because I was one of her first counselors when she first came to Camp ASDA. So that was my way of keeping myself from becoming a bad statistic. And then now I'm like, you know what? I have the ability change those statistics to be good. Let's make good statistics the
Mm.
bad statistics that we have. So in a
I
nutshell.
love that. Yeah, no, I love that, and I think it's such a common thread for people with type 1 diabetes to feel the amount of loneliness that comes with it, because a lot of
Did I lose
times,
you?
ev oh, hello? Check, check.
Oh no.
Mic check. Can you hear me? Oh, boy. Oh, no. Maybe I'll text her real quick and tell her to pop out and pop back in. Let's see. 1 second. Jump out and jump back in. Hopefully that works. Okay, let's see. I see her popping back in there. Hold on just a moment. Oops.
Am I back?
Are you back? Can you hear me?
I'm back. I can hear
Hey,
you.
welcome back to the show.
Little pause.
Yeah, no sweat. That's the thing about these live shows, we don't edit anything and we just roll with the punches.
I
But I
love
think
it.
what you were talking about resonates with so many people in the world who are living with type 1 diabetes, that it can be such a lonely disease. And I
Mhm.
know myself, I was diagnosed at 28, so I've lived this whole life. I'm on my deathbed. I'm ready to check out because I've done so much. And then after realizing that there's more for me to give to the world, I did start to feel that loneliness. Like, gosh, there's nobody that can relate unless you're a type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
And for you to have found a network of people to surround yourself with that big commonality, and it's such a huge thing to have that understanding in your
Yeah.
life, is life altering.
Changed my life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And so you wanted to pivot and do something yourself. So let's talk about your nonprofit. Let's talk
Yeah.
about starting that and what it's grown into.
I mean, like I said, I'm a nurse by trade. And so I had no entrepreneur skills. And so I've had to teach myself everything. I am a part of a few academies now, nonprofit leadership academies, and networking with people, honestly. State 48 Foundation has these incredible business opportunities. And so I've kind of inserted myself there. And I just learn from the best. If I want to be the best, I got to surround myself with the best. So I've taught myself a lot, and it's working, right? We have a lot of road bumps and blocks and hurdles and mistakes. But I learned very on in my childhood that there are no mistakes. Um, and fails are learning opportunities, and so I'm taking every single one of those and kind of turning that into a positive. um, and that's how we learn, that's how we grow. And I'm actually enjoying it, as much as it's weird to say like failing is fun. But it's kind of cool, just to kind of see. I'm really into like what else can we do, how much more can we do, and what next. So with all that, like, I learned how to do all this myself. And so it's still a work in progress. We're not perfect. We obviously have a lot of things we need to streamline and fix, but our impact is what drives me and our team. Seeing these people just kind of light up when you say, "Hey, we're thinking of doing this. What do you think?" And they're like, "Yes, more meetups, more camps, more this, more that." When I get to hand off a supply, we do a free supply donation thing. People say, "I haven't had insulin for 3 days. So thank you for saving my life." And I do it out of my front door. I don't have a big office building. I don't have a fancy address. It's my house. But to see that change happen in real time every day, I just am so thankful that I get the opportunity to change someone's life.
Yeah, and you're doing such an incredible job. I want to give you one of these because it's
Thank you.
really amazing what you're doing. And you're taking on the jelly solo and realizing that, building this beautiful network of people, that there are others that want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about the branches of the Diabetes Network of Arizona.
Yeah. So when we first started, we honestly were like, okay, we know we want to do this, this, and this, right? Help people, change lives, create impact. And we kind of all sat at a table and we're like, okay, how do we do that? And we went round and round and round and round. And then finally it was like, okay, we're just going to start. Let's just start doing stuff, right? And so that's kind of grown into our four biggest programs. And right now is the supply share. That's probably one of our biggest impact programs, where we take in diabetes supplies that people no longer need, and then we reallocate them to those that need them. And it's free. We don't charge anything. You just have to pick them up. The other ones is community meetups. So we shy away from kind of calling them support groups. Those tend to have a negative connotation. And so we call them meetups. We're just trying to create the community kind of like wherever we're at. And we like to do things that are fun, that normal people do. And I say that lightly. I hiked the Grand Canyon as a type 1 diabetic, and you wouldn't believe the comments that people left on my post about how can you do that? You live with type 1. And I thought, I never thought about it. I never once thought, why couldn't I do this? And so the way I thought to do that is like, let's just get people around people, and you will learn quickly the things you're capable of doing. I can't tell you that. I can't allow you to read a book, right? It was like, let's just get these people together. And so we're really passionate about community meetups and organic learning. And then camps, again, another place that we learn organic learning. That's where I was raised. That's where I've raised my young to go on and do good in the world. And so there's just not enough. There's just not enough camps, meetups, supplies to go around. Like this astronomical number of how fast type 1 diabetes is growing is insane. And so we're like, we're just going to keep building. There will never be enough, even if we build, right? Like there will just always be a need for these in the community. So, and then we have a partnership with Department of Child Safety where we're trying to.
Tara, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think we're having really bad audio issues. I'm asking the audience right now if they're hearing those too. We could understand you for quite some time there, and then it started to crackle a little bit. Do you know are you on Wi-Fi currently?
No.
No. Okay. Do you know if your Wi-Fi is good? Do you want to try and get on Wi-Fi and pop back in?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try that then. Let's try that. Yeah, hopefully we can get that squared away. Let's see. I'm gonna pop her out of here real quick and then have her rejoin once she's back on Wi-Fi. We'll try it out. Let's go to the chat real quick and see what you guys are up to. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Jeez, I I hope everybody's weekend was great. Okay, let me pop her back in. She just popped back in. So let's see. Let's see if this will work. Okay, round 3. Hello. Now we got no audio. Oh no, it's not working. We might have to throw an audible. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if they can hear. Okay. Let me ask them one more time. You guys having audio crackling as well? Question mark. The audible that we could throw is I could mute you on screen, and it might not, it's just tough because it doesn't sync up if that is the thing. So when it comes to editing and giving you clips for your time, it's really tough. But let's see, just go ahead and give me some mic checks. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. She says, okay, Amanda Cardena says, you look 10 times better than you sound right now. So at least you look great. But the audio is just crackling. So let's throw an audible and have a phone call. I don't want to waste your time here. And if we're having audio issues, the podcast is undoable. So what I'll do is I will connect this to Bluetooth real quick. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us. Let me go ahead and do this in the background. We'll run a quick 1-minute countdown, maybe 2. I'll run a 2-minute countdown, and if we get done with this sooner, then we'll go ahead and go from there. So give me a moment. and gentlemen. Thank you y'all for hanging tight. Let me see. I'm going to pop her out of here real quick. And then I'm going to give her a phone call and see if that works. Let's see if that works. Kalia here. All right. See if we can hear it through here.
Hi.
Hello. I can hear you. Let's wait for some.
I can hear you.
Can you? Good. Let me wait for a little bit of feedback and see if the people can hear you okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, we were talking about the different branches. And I think that as I have you here, hopefully that everything goes smoothly now. I think it would be really important to talk about this big announcement that you have. I think that would be the best thing to get out of the way just in case something happens, because I want the people to know about that. It's something that's really incredible. So let's discuss the new announcement, the big announcement for the Diabetes Network of Arizona and what you guys are putting together.
Okay. Yeah. So our most recent and largest, kind of what we set out to do in the very beginning when we sat around this little round table, was launching another camp. For years and years and years, we talked about, gosh, we wish diabetes camp was 2 weeks long, 3 weeks long. Gosh, if only we had one more week. In the facilities we were at, and the, program directors kind of running that camp, there was no way to expand. And so, with that goal set 2 years ago, for 2026, we are launching Arizona's second youth camp for kids living with type 1 diabetes. So we set that goal 2 years ago, and for 2026, we are able to launch another youth camp.
Come on. Can you hear those claps? The crowd is going crazy for you right now.
Yeah.
That is incredible. How exciting. And so we have raised over $3,800. The people and myself have put together a way to help as much as we can for these kids. Shout out to Amanda Cardenas again for platforming you guys. And so, what we did raise, we thought would be enough to take 2 kids to camp. Because from what I had read online, it was $1,650 for this year for full tuition, if you could call it that, for the full week of camp. And so I was like, man, we can at least raise enough, and hopefully we can talk with somebody there and maybe get 3 kids in with that price point. But we discussed that you guys have found a way to lower the price point. So let's talk about that.
Yes. So our camp will be hosted at UCYC, Prescott, Arizona. We have a great partnership with that team up at UCYC. And so with that, our camp price for one child per week is going to be $950. So $950 gets them a week at type 1 diabetes camp in Prescott.
Incredible. And when is the camp?
So our dates are June 28th through July 3rd, 2026.
Very nice. And I want to discuss a little bit about how you guys came up with the name.
Mm-hmm. So all good, I guess like business names or camp names kind of come from a funny story. So I was actually in my car driving down the freeway. We know everything in Arizona is driven by freeways. So long drives on a freeway. And I was practicing my speech for our annual gala that we host called Betting on a Cure. And I was going to, I had this big founder speech coming, and I was like, it's got to be perfect, So I just started talking to myself. And at the end, I said, so let's raise our glasses. And I said, blah, 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 and to friends with diabetes. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I just got kicked in the face. And I thought the whole rest of my drive was me literally reminiscing and, going back to that is what this entire thing has been, is my friends with diabetes. That is how I met my best friend when I was 8 years old. I became friends with this guy at camp named John, who is now my husband. I looked around my circle of people and I thought, that is my story, is my friends with diabetes. And so our camp will be called Camp Forward, because we only believe in moving forward. And the abbreviation is Camp FWD, and that also stands for Camp Friends with Diabetes. So that's how our name got kind of designed, if you will.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Camp Forward, ladies and gentlemen. So the beauty of this whole thing is we're going to be able to send more kids to camp based on what you've put together, the amount of work and time and effort. And finally, we're going to be able to pick the fruits of your hard labor and help as much as we can. Let's talk a little bit about the camp as far as like what people can expect and why it's so important.
Yeah, we're really big on come as you are. And so you come with whatever you have on your back and we will help provide the rest. So a lot of people feel like they have to like prepare and have all these things and hiking shoes and all this stuff. And it's just come as you are, exactly as you are. And we will help kind of fix the rest. But our activities are normal camp activities. So ropes, climbing walls, normal camp activities. If anyone's ever been to a camp in their youth, like that's exactly what we do. Arts and crafts. We have fun evening activities planned, kind of some traditions that we've always done. So like talent shows, carnival nights, things like that. So we'll do normal camp activities because our kind of mindset, which has always been the mindset of any camp in Arizona, is we want to kind of let you be you for the week and kind of forget about your diabetes and let us take on the burden of living with type 1. So we just like as a kind of make it very medically safe. So they have assigned medical staff and diabetic counselors that follow them around and kind of take that burden for the week so they can be, like I said earlier, like quote unquote normal kids and let that burden rest for at least a week, as well as the families, their caregivers. They can take a break as well, and we'll take it from there. So normal camp activities, normal atmosphere, group camping. We love being outside, so as much as we can do outside, we will do outside, weather permitting. That's kind of, you never know in Arizona what you're going to get. Sometimes we have monsoons, and then, family camp, we had snow. So it's like, you never know. But we'll do our best. So
amazing.
That's kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I just feel as though this is something, the ripple effect from a kid going to these camps. I had somebody that recently reached out to me stating that his nephew at 9 years old was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And I immediately said, let's get them to camp. Like that was my first response. So we already have a kid in line to sponsor for your camp, but the ripple effect of that is unreal. And when I had Amanda on and she spoke about her going to her first camp 24 years ago, it might be 25 years ago now, but 24 years ago, and how it totally altered who she was as a diabetic and who she was going to be moving forward. Because like you said, having that community aspect of other people understanding. A lot of parents are out there turning into doctors for the first time, not knowing anything about diabetes. So they all of a sudden have to become experts. They all of a sudden have to become kind of hovering parents, looking out for the safety of their child. And just the light bulb moment that I had when somebody goes to a camp like that and it turns from them just being and living as a diabetic to being somebody that has community and is advocating for it is just so impactful, so beautiful.
Yeah. And it's so true, the ripple effect. Like, everybody, and maybe it's just like a natural response, I'm not really sure, but when you get diagnosed with something, you tend to kind of take on that mask of like, I am a diabetic versus I live with type 1 diabetes. that mindset, and it takes over, and it's overwhelming, and it's shadowing, and it's dark, and you don't realize it, but you kind of end up living in a silo. And that's what we kind of looked around and saw, is that this is a very invisible disease. And if we're not careful, we can end up living with it alone. And so we're trying to break open that shell of like, I promise that your life will be a little bit better if you join this meetup, or you come to this camp, or you have a conversation with somebody, because we see it nationwide. All the other organizations that are kind of branching off and doing these things, changing the stigma. How many times have we heard you can't eat that, or how can you do that? You can't hike the Grand Canyon. And you kind of look at yourself and you're like, well, wait, I did, and I am. I was told when I was younger, you're most likely not going to be able to have children. And I thought, well, why? And no one could tell me why. It was just, well, that's just how it is. And now I look around in my circle and I'm like, we have firefighters, we have police officers, we have teachers, nurses, lawyers, social workers. I mean, it's like all these people living with type 1, football players, professional football players. Mark Andrews, who's from Arizona, who now plays, professional football, living with type 1. I mean, there is nothing. And so we have to change the narrative. We have to change the stigma that just because you live with type 1 doesn't mean that you are type 1 and have to live in this silo by yourself.
Well said. Yeah, I just relate to that so much, and I appreciate those words of affirmations. Like it is so true. I love the mindset change of, you're not somebody who has type 1 diabetes, you're living with it. And I feel like that is such an empowering statement with anybody that's living with anything, because it's really taking the power away of whatever disease, and I don't even like to call it a disease, but whatever ailment, right? It's like, it's tough, but whatever superpower God gave you, right? And that's the thing, is like, I feel as though there are so many people that are, they're hurting. And like you said, it's so true that we are capable. And I just saw the other day, being a type 1 diabetic and looking this stuff up all the time, a news story came on that there was a commercial airline pilot with type 1 diabetes. And I was told,
I saw that.
Right. I was told at a really young age that is impossible. Like, you are a high risk individual and there's no way that you could ever be a pilot. And so I kind of took that moment, that little piece of information, and put that dream back into my journal, my goal list, because I wanted to be a pilot one day. So
that's incredible.
It really is. Yeah. And just spreading that
can't
awareness.
wait to see you become a pilot.
Right. Yeah. And I don't want to be a commercial pilot, but I would love to be able to go fly around. My grandfather, and this is kind of a side note, but my grandfather, he flew planes, throughout his younger years. And it's just so funny because he never had a license. So he flew for maybe 30 to 40 years and never had a license. And, maybe this is bad to put out into the universe, but the 30s and 40s were a different time, right? And people would ask him all the time, how do you fly with no license? He said, well, you get it up to about 60 miles an hour and you pull the stick back. And, he just...
That's hilarious.
But the mindset of people not thinking that they're able to do something, or how could you possibly with, being a diabetic or having an ailment of some sort. So I really love that. And there's some more people in here. Bailey. Oh no. Here's another last name I can't pronounce. Bailey, we see you out there with the clapping hands. Thank you.
That's awesome.
But Tara, I want people to get involved with you, right? And I'm going to be standing here side by side, hand in hand, doing everything that I can to advocate for the different branches of the Diabetes Network of Arizona. And first off, before we jump into this, I want to apologize for our technical difficulties. We will have to reschedule another actual sit-down conversation face-to-face.
Yeah, that's great. I could talk about this with you all day. So.
Yes. Yeah, I'm right there with you. But I wanted to say that, again, I am an advocate for the Diabetes Network of Arizona. You not only are a sponsor of the show, but I like to open the doors to anybody who this calls to get involved. So other than the links that we have below, how do people get involved with the Diabetes Network of Arizona?
We're kind of different. I'm learning, obviously, as we go, that like you can call our number and a live person will answer the phone. There are a lot of meetings happening with these huge programs we're launching. But for the most part, a live person will call you back. And so we just like to talk to people. If there's something that you need, like call us and be like, hey, I'm really struggling with this. I have a great idea for a program. This is actually a new branch we're launching. Is this lady reached out to us, Stacy, and said, hey, I've been kind of doing this on the side. I talk to newly diagnosed families, and it seems to really help. And I want to grow my impact. How do I do that? And so we're creating a program just for that. Is that honestly is it? It's like I've learned so much just by talking to people. And in today's world, it's hard to find people to talk to, if that makes sense. Especially people living with your same disease, or well, we said we're not going to use that word, but living with type 1 or anything you're going through, right? It's hard to find people, and support groups are great, but they have that kind of negative cloud that hangs over it, and you get there and it's kind of like, oh, we all have this. And so, but that's not how we live our life, right? Like in the normal world, you're out. Maybe you went for a walk this morning. Maybe you went to the gym. Maybe you went and played golf, or, and it's like, let's go do those things together and then just find conversation in those real life moments. So, calling our phone number, you'll talk to a live person. We're not super, I don't want to say like professional. We don't have an answering service. We don't have here, send an email. We'll just answer and kind of chat and see kind of where you fit. If you want to volunteer for a program, we have a lot of needs for volunteers to get involved, to either help run a program, help with fundraising, all of those things. So the phone call and the emails are probably the easiest. But also getting involved. Just come to one of the meetups, come to a program that we're hosting, and kind of meet everybody. And that, I promise you, will change your life.
Yeah. And can people get involved in those community meetups via the website, or should they call to figure out when those are?
Yeah, call or text, honestly. Okay. We're trying to create a community calendar at the moment, to where you just subscribe and then you kind of get notifications when all the events are happening. Because we understand people are busy. And so that way people can pre-plan or whatnot. But call or text. And then once we get the community calendar up and running, it'll be easy to follow that as well.
Amazing. Amazing. So I hope that resonates with some people there. And again, for anybody that's just joining us, I saw some more people pop in. We were having some issues with the Wi-Fi, so we kind of pivoted and we are on a phone call now.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It happens. And that's the beauty of this whole thing is like, it's perfectly imperfect. And
I'm trying to help people from the office of my house. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We're all just doing our best. And so on that topic though of camp and helping the community, I want people to be able to find you to sign up for camp. So let's talk about camp dates first of all. When is your first camp? When is Camp Forward moving?
Yeah, so Camp Forward will be June 28th through July 3rd in Prescott, Arizona. We also host Arizona's first and only family camp. That's in March. So that's also in Prescott. So that's family camp. So that's adults living with type 1, kids living with type 1, and then their network of people. So you can invite as many people in your network as possible. And we all camp together. So similar programming, same style stuff. It's just now like either with your parents or with your children if you're living with type 1. And then our youth camp, Camp Forward in June. So June 28th through July 3rd. And that's also in Prescott, just at a different site.
Amazing. Amazing. And I'm hoping that I am able to come and be a part of whatever it is that you have going on. If you'd like me to be a speaker, if you'd like me to just volunteer, I would love to come and showcase exactly where these people can get the help that they need and come just be involved with other type 1 diabetics and, also the people that are donating. let them see where
Yeah.
their money is going. And I think that is such a big part of what makes this show is
Yeah.
I just want to, I just feel like people donate so much and so often, but they never get to see the impact.
And that's something that we learned from previous years is that exact thing. When you donate your money and you say, okay, send a kid to camp, I've lived it, right? Like I've been there. I know what this can do. And the only way that I can kind of show you is for you to be there. And so if you can't come the whole week, you can't volunteer as staff and kind of, be toe to toe with these kids the whole week, that's okay. If you donate, you have the opportunity to come and physically see the camp and experience the camp. And so we're not sure what we're going to call it yet, but there will be a day, potentially 2 days, if you're interested, where you get to come and live what it's like. We'll put pump sites on you. We'll poke your finger. We will make sure that you know how it feels to live with type 1 diabetes. But you can actually be a part of the camp and be a participant to see, your dollars hard at work and seeing their faces light up and the conversations that happen is something that I think the world needs to see and experience. So that will be an opportunity for anyone who donates. And then obviously if you volunteer as staff, you get to experience it the whole week. So
what an incredible thing to do. Yeah. Yeah. And I just love what you said there about showcasing what it feels like to live with type 1 diabetes. And that is kind of a full circle moment with the lack of understanding when you are a diabetic. Like people ask all the time, what's a low feel like? And you're like, I don't know, you're drunk. Like it's, it's really tough. And so just to allow people to feel the pricks of the fingers and the wearing of the pump and those types of things, I think is very important. It's enlightening. And I can only imagine a kid seeing their parent do that for them is very inspiring.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that's what we want to invite, not only donors, but, people that are policymakers, insurance companies, things like that. We're really trying to kind of, we're breaking the stigma on one area, but we're also trying to, I don't know if you want to say like poke the bear, but these denials and the costs and all of that, like, do you know what it's actually like to do these things? And the best place to showcase that is camp. So not only donors are invited, but change makers and lawmakers and people that make rules for people living with type 1 diabetes are also going to be invited.
I love that. So do you think that we can discuss these different hubs that you have? And like you said, it's kind of a no questions asked policy, right? People don't pay to come get diabetic supplies. And you are looking to branch out and you and I are in talk. Can we talk about that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So go ahead.
We started based in Gilbert, and that's where we launched our programming. And then obviously we quickly learned, we can't target one market, right? Type 1 diabetes doesn't care where you live or how much money you make. And so we branched to North Phoenix. And so our vice president, Becky, runs our supply share program with the help of Bailey and Michelle in the North Phoenix area. And so we have an online system where you go online and you kind of request supplies. We reply whether we have it or not, and then where you can pick it up. But we had a lot of requests in Tucson and actually Northern Arizona, but a lot coming from Tucson. And so, by this, meant to be moment, we got connected and, the need in Tucson is great for those supplies. And there's also a lot of people that are willing to give out of Tucson. And so we were using a hub out of the fire station because it was the only kind of generic place we could say, hey, is anyone in Tucson willing to help us out, until you came along. And so I'm so grateful that you're willing to kind of host this hub in Tucson. And so we're going to share our supplies with you. And then you'll be able to distribute and as well as collect supplies there in Tucson for free.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do this without you.
I need to give you one of these for starting that program, give you the flowers for allowing me to be a hub, to be able to help. And it's so, Man, it's just so impactful because I have been in that position so many times where I'm either traveling or just forgot my diabetic supplies, or, just the other day, my fridge went out and all of a sudden
Yeah.
I'm throwing away, 5 vials of perfectly good insulin that is now garbage. And
Oh, it's like a shot to the heart.
the worst. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, So that
Yeah.
happens to people in everyday life. And it can be a
Mm-hmm.
matter of life and death, or a matter of a huge hospital bill and keeping that in check. So to be able to be a hub, it is an absolute honor. And I want to say to anybody that's listening, if you're in the Tucson, Arizona area, let's start getting the word out that this hub is on its way to Tucson, and I will personally be here to give you any diabetic supplies that you need. No questions asked.
Yeah.
If you need something and I have it, it is yours. So I am so grateful and honored to be a part of that network, just because I know how impactful it is.
Yeah. And we just had a person today reach out and said they just traveled here from Washington, I believe, and airline lost their luggage. They had supplies to get them through a couple of days because they put stuff on their carry-on, but the rest of their supplies is still missing. And so they found us and they said, "Hey, can I get a couple things just in case?" And we said, "Absolutely." And they came and picked them up. So it's anything from, the day-to-day, I can't afford this period, versus I'm traveling and I don't have my stuff. We're here in Arizona if you need anything. We all know like rationing insulin is a big thing. It costs a lot. It's a lot of money. And I don't think the general public understands how much it truly costs to keep ourselves alive every single day.
Yeah, it is absolutely gut wrenching when you actually look. If you don't have good insurance, I mean, it can be a matter of being able to feed the family and not. So, we're all just doing our part out here. And I want to commend you. I want to tip my hat to you. I want to give you your flowers because I am honored to be amongst the group of people that have been involved in your community as well. And I'm just here to do anything that you need. If you need something from me, consider, you have an extra soldier here in Tucson to call on.
Much needed, right?
Absolutely.
Like this is a beast we're all trying to tackle. And we have an incredible team that just works so hard and so dedicated to we are going to make this better. And my story is my story, but my team's story are all very similar, right? We all have these impacts of living with type 1, or we have some people on the team that don't live with type 1, but they're wannabes. They wish they had it at sometimes because we make it so cool. But we need to expand, and we have to reach more and more and more, because like I said, no matter how big we build our organization, it will never be enough. The statistic for where the people living with type 1 will be in 2040 is astronomical. So we just have to build and do the best we can. And so we're grateful that you wanted to help and take this to Tucson and the programming there, because like I said, it will never be enough, but we got to do what we can while we're here. So
well said. Yeah, we'll just keep spreading the word, because it is an amazing thing. And you're right, it is one of those mountains that does not have a peak. So we just keep chipping away at it, and I think we'll really be here to do our part. But Amanda Cardenas says, oh gosh, Amanda, she says, we need to get this man a camp name.
Yes, we do. We got to start calling you something. If we're going to go by Farva and Tasty Face, you're going to have a fun name as well.
Okay, deal, Amanda. Go ahead. You guys, hit the whiteboards and see what you can come up with there. Rich says that is an awesome thing to do. And I think he's referring to the camp and everything else that you got going on. Thank you for that comment there, Rich. And Amanda also says, careful. People may run out, quote unquote, just for the opportunity to meet you in person. Oh boy, we'll cross that bridge when the time comes, We'll see.
You don't look like you have type 1 diabetes. So there's this stigma out there, right? That, people say all the time, like, oh, you don't look like you have type 1 diabetes. And the question back is like, well, what does that actually look like? It's so interesting to hear people say that, or they're shocked when you say I have it. And you're like, okay, I just didn't know that there was like a thing, like a look, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is too true. And gosh, even when I was first diagnosed, I thought I was so fit and so healthy. And
yeah,
to get it so late in life was so just a wild event, you know, in the state of
I bet.
ketoacidosis. And I'm like, man, I cannot stay awake. What is going on? And just like anybody else that's ever been
Yeah.
diagnosed, you know, I'm peeing, 200 times a day. And I'm like, how do I even have this much liquid in my body? What is going on?
Yeah.
But there is a stigma with that. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
one of the main things about having these platforms and these conversations is, like you said, to show people that you're living with this. This isn't something that should be all consuming, and you shouldn't be scared to talk about what you have, and you shouldn't be scared to do specific things in life because of that. And just give people the opportunity for them to be their own hero and know that this isn't the end all be all. Like, you don't have to live underneath your type 1 diabetes. You can live with it. And I think that's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah. It's like a toxic roommate, but we learn to live with it. And then, I think this new generation that is coming up is they're living a different life than we lived. And life is different now. There's a lot of things that they're afraid to show or experience because of just who they are, just as them. And then to add type 1 diabetes on that, it's hiding it. It's pretending you don't have it. But in turn, right, there's complications that come with that. And so we have a couple extra steps in our day, but we can generally have normal days. We have technology now, which is great. And that's why we want to make that affordable. We want to help people get that technology, make it easier on yourself. You don't have to work harder. Let's work a little bit smarter. And then, I don't walk into a room and announce that I have type 1 diabetes,
Right.
but we just learn how. And so we teach that organically. Just go get the job you want. Go fly that plane. Go do those things because you are capable, and you just have a toxic roommate.
Yeah. Gosh, come on. Well said. Well said. Bailey's out here too. She says, "Oh, baking ceremony. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can enlighten me."
Maybe I'm not sure either.
Oh, she says, "Oh, I feel a naming ceremony." Got it. Okay.
Oh, I was like, what's a baking ceremony? This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I thought you guys had some, like, I don't know, some camp lingo that, you bake whoever's in there to get their name. I love it. Well, I want to apologize that we didn't get you on video today, so we have to reschedule. Let's reschedule a face-to-face. Either I can come that way or you can come down this way, but I think that it's worth it for us to have another sit down because we just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I feel like learning your story, your reasons why, your purpose. Again, we just barely touched on all of that. And I would really like to dive into that and put the story behind the why. I would love to invite you back on the show and thank you for being a pivotal point of us here at People Helping People being able to reach our hand out to others and do the same. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so grateful that you exist. We have this connection, and we're going to, one thing at a time, make the world a better place. So
absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with us, and I hope that you got as much from this episode as I did today. It was an incredible conversation with Tara, the owner and founder of the Diabetes Network of Arizona. Tara, we'll let you go. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye. Yeehaw. Beautiful. Let's see. Gosh, you guys are all out there jumping into the comments. We really appreciate you. Kayla Coffee Studios in the house. Hi, baby. She's at work right now doing her thing. Bailey, I don't know what that emoji is. I don't have my glasses on. I can't tell if that is a crying, laughing emoji or some nails. Here, let me put it on screen. What does it say? Oh, it's a face to palm. Okay. All right. Nice. I love it. Amanda says, someone check her blood sugar. I don't know. Your baking ceremony sounds pretty good too. I might be in on that. Amanda says, great job, guys. Thank you. Kayla Coffee Studios with the clapping hands. Shiv and Patel. I'm sorry. I know I butchered that right now. Says, awesome work with a 100. Thank you. Yeah, Tara's incredible. She's doing amazing things in the community. And to just be a part of this ecosystem feels so good. I am so floored. I'm honored. And we're going to continue to make the biggest impact that we can in our communities. I feel like I absolutely have to mention March 14th, being that we're on the topic of camp and diabetes. March 14th, we are having a diabetic motorcycle ride. It will be sending kids, because it is a cheaper camp, we're going to be sending kids to Camp Forward. So March 14th, get your motorcycles out. Rich, if you're out there, you're listening, he is orchestrating this whole thing for us to all come together, raise some money for the last push before camp starts in June. And I will be a part of the camp. I'm beside myself. So stinking excited. Let's see. Rich says 5 watching and 5 likes. Way to go. Yeah. Way to remind me. If you guys are watching on YouTube or anywhere else, just give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on anything other than YouTube, please go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to us, show us some love over there. We appreciate everybody for being here, being a part of the People Helping People community. And we're continuing to learn, grow, and make a difference, one brick and one show at a time. So thank you guys again so much for joining us. We will catch y'all Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tomorrow, we are going to our first nonprofit to volunteer. And Wednesday's show, we're going to showcase you guys a beautiful place here in Tucson to go get involved in the community if you'd like. So in any event, I'm terrible at ending these. Let's get it going. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.